Welcome back, deep divers. We're on episode 4, and today we're tackling a question I know a lot of you have, especially if you're into fitness or just trying to be healthy.
Definitely a popular one.
Exactly. How much protein can our bodies actually absorb in a day? We're basing this deep dive on some awesome articles from zenfitpulse.com. If you haven't checked them out, do it. Seriously, tons of good stuff on there.
I'm a fan.
But yeah, for this deep dive, we're zeroing in on protein absorption. Because it's easy to think, more protein, more gains, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot more nuance to it.
Right, like our bodies don't just endlessly soak up protein.
Yeah, so let's unpack that. First off, everyone knows protein breaks down into amino acids. Yeah.
Basic building blocks.
But zenfitpulse.com gets into how much muscle protein synthesis we can actually DO at once. It's limited.
This is where it gets interesting. That assumption, more protein, more muscle, isn't always the case.
So chugging those protein shakes all day, maybe not the magic solution.
Not necessarily. The research zenfitpulse.com site suggests muscle protein synthesis peaks around like 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal. So instead of these massive protein hits, it's more about consistency throughout the day.
Okay, so spreading it out is key. But what about the type of protein? Does that matter?
Huge factor. zenfitpulse.com talks about protein bioavailability, basically, how well your body can actually use the protein from different sources. Eggs, chicken, fish, those are absorbed really well, but plant proteins, lentils, beans, they might take a bit longer to break down.
So it's not just hitting a number on your tracker, but choosing the right protein sources too. This is already more complicated than I thought.
Oh, and it gets even more interesting. The articles on zenfitpulse.com also talk about how stuff like your age, even how healthy your digestion is, can affect protein absorption.
Hold on, age matters. Thought protein was just protein.
Turns out the older we get, the less efficient we are at using protein. So, gotta adjust intake as we age, otherwise bye-bye muscle mass and hello health problems. Seriously, this is a deep dive, all right. Okay, so we've touched on how it works, but what about all those protein myths out there? Like I hear you can only absorb 30 grams at a time, true or false?
Well, not quite that black and white. While muscle protein synthesis might max out around that 30-gram mark, your body can still absorb more. It just gets used for other stuff, like energy.
So not a hard limit, but a good guideline if you're aiming for muscle gains. What about the one that says all excess protein just turns into fat?
Another classic myth. It is true that any extra calories, even from protein, can be stored as fat. But it's less likely with protein compared to carbs or fats, especially if you're eating a balanced diet and not constantly going overboard on calories.
So moderation and balance, like with most things in nutrition, this is busting some myths I've believed for ages.
And one more myth buster while we're at it, the whole high-protein diets wreck your kidneys thing.
Oh yeah, heard that one too. Any truth to it?
If you're healthy, high-protein diets are generally fine. But anyone with kidney issues should definitely talk to their doctor before going all in on protein. Makes sense. Always better to be safe. So we've covered what helps absorption, but what about signs that someone might not be getting enough protein?
The articles on zenfitpulse.com mention a bunch of those. Muscle loss, feeling weak all the time, wounds taking forever to heal, even problems with your hair, skin, and nails.
Whoa, so it's way more than just athletes needing to bulk up. Protein deficiency can really mess with your whole body.
Exactly. And it's not just about how much protein, but also about when you eat it and how you spread it out over the day.
All right, so timing matters.
Oh, big time. Like getting protein right after your workout, especially fast-absorbing stuff like whey, can really maximize how your muscles recover and grow. And a slow-digesting protein, like casein, before bed, can give your muscles a steady supply of amino acids all night long.
So it's like a strategic protein schedule. This is getting seriously in-depth. But is there anything on zenfitpulse.com to help people actually do this?
Definitely. They've got articles with meal plans and tips on fitting more protein in. One even breaks down a sample meal plan for an active person with specific gram amounts and everything.
Okay, that's useful. Understanding the science is one thing, but actually putting it into practice is a whole other beast. Meal planning isn't exactly everyone's favorite thing.
For real, but having those resources can make it way easier to stick with it and actually see the results you want.
So it's about having the knowledge and the tools to make it happen. I like that. Anything else about protein absorption before we move on to some of the other cool stuff on zenfitpulse.com?
One more biggie they emphasize: stay hydrated. Drinking enough water is crucial for good digestion, and that includes protein.
Wow, so even water ties back into this. It really is all connected.
It is, and remember, everyone's protein needs are a bit different. how active you are, your age, your goals, all that plays a role.
Right, no one-size-fits-all approach. Got to figure out what works for you. But hey, before we go any further, everyone listening, seriously, check out zenfitpulse.com.
It's worth it.
They've got articles on everything from this protein stuff to workouts, mindfulness, the whole deal. Great resource for anyone into health and wellness.
Totally agree.
All right, so we've got the basics of protein absorption down. Now let's dive into some of the other fascinating topics zenfitpulse.com covers. They've got sections on mental health, physical health, holistic health, even a whole fitness central, lots to explore.
Sounds like a plan.
But first, we take a quick break. Back in a flash, deep divers.
You know, one thing I really like about zenfitpulse.com is how they don't just focus on one aspect of health, you know? It's this whole holistic approach. Fitness, mental well-being, everything's connected.
Yeah, I was impressed by how many topics they cover. Like we were talking about their fitness central section earlier.
Yeah.
What jumped out at you there?
Well, they've got articles on all kinds of workouts, right? Strength training, cardio, yoga, but it's not just giving you a random plan, it's explaining the why behind each exercise, how it actually works your body.
Ah, so you're not just mindlessly going through the motions, you actually understand what's happening.
Exactly. And they have stuff on technique too, like proper form, breathing. So you're getting the most out of your workout, but also preventing injuries.
Which is so important. I've definitely been guilty of pushing myself too hard without good form, and let me tell you, my body did not thank me for that. So zenfitpulse.com is all about quality over quantity when it comes to exercise.
For sure. And they give you modifications too for different fitness levels. So whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned athlete, they've got something for you.
I love that. Makes fitness way less intimidating if you're a beginner. But it's not all about hitting the gym, right? There's that whole holistic health section too.
Right. And that's what I like. They get that real well-being. It's more than just physical.
So what kind of stuff are they digging into over there?
Well, they have articles on mindfulness and meditation, which are awesome for stress. And they can help with mental clarity too.
Mindfulness is something I keep meaning to try, but honestly, I have no idea where to start. Do they give you like actual tips?
Yeah.
Or guided meditations even?
Oh yeah, they've got articles explaining the different techniques, what the benefits are, and they even link to some guided meditations you can try out.
Perfect. I'm adding that to my to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else catch your eye in a holistic health section?
They have articles on sleep hygiene, which, let's be real, a lot of us struggle with that.
Oh, tell me about it. Guilty as charged, scrolling on my phone way past my bedtime. So does zenfitpulse.com give you any advice on how to actually fix those bad sleep habits?
Yep. They talk about creating a bedtime routine to help you relax, avoiding caffeine and alcohol before bed, stuff like that. Even how to make your bedroom more sleep-friendly.
Okay, those are actually good tips. I need to work on some of those myself. It's crazy how much sleep or lack of it affects everything else, you know?
Seriously.
Yeah.
And zenfitpulse.com doesn't shy away from the tougher stuff either. They have a whole section on mental health.
Which is so important. Mental health is still kind of taboo to talk about, so it's awesome that they're creating a safe space for those conversations.
Exactly. And they cover a ton of different topics: anxiety, depression, stress management, self-care.
Do they have like specific advice
Oh,
or resources for people who might be struggling?
they do. They have articles about coping mechanisms, ways to relax, even links to therapists if you need more help.
That's amazing. It's so crucial to have access to good information and support when it comes to mental health.
And they don't just focus on the negative either. They also have stuff on positive psychology, building resilience, things that are super important for your overall well-being.
I like that. It's not just about fixing problems, but about building yourself up too.
For sure. And then, of course, they have a physical health section: nutrition, exercise, sleep, even managing chronic conditions. It's all in there.
Wow, they really do cover all the bases, don't they?
They do. And what's great is how they present it all. It's engaging, informative, easy to get.
You know, one thing that really stands out to me about zenfitpulse.com is how they emphasize using real, solid research.
Totally agree. It's not just about the latest fad diets or whatever's trending. It's about stuff that's actually backed up by science.
Which is so important nowadays because there's so much misinformation out there. It's hard to know what to trust.
Yeah, and that's what makes their content so reliable. You know you're getting accurate info when you go to their site.
It's like having this team of experts ready to answer your questions and help you on your health journey, but without the hefty price tag.
Right. And they're always updating with the latest research, so you know you're getting the most current stuff.
Which is key, because the world of health and wellness is always changing, right?
Yeah.
There's always something new to learn.
Always. Speaking of which, I remember seeing a whole section on their site about nutrition. What did you think of that?
Oh, their nutrition section is awesome. They break down all the macros, micros. They talk about healthy eating habits, meal planning, the whole shebang.
It's a lifesaver, honestly, because nutrition can be so confusing with all the conflicting info out there.
Tell me about it. ZenFitPulse.com does such a good job of explaining complicated stuff in a way that actually makes sense.
And they give you practical tips too, like how to actually make healthy eating a part of your life.
Like what kind of stuff?
They have articles on portion control, mindful eating, how to make good choices when you're eating out.
Okay, those are actually useful. I'm always looking for ways to eat healthier without feeling like I'm depriving myself.
Plus, they have tons of healthy recipes on the site too.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing some for smoothies, salads, even desserts that actually look good.
And they're all designed to be healthy and delicious.
So you don't have to choose between being healthy and enjoying your food.
Right. They make healthy eating feel doable, not like some crazy restrictive diet. Honestly, it's amazing how ZenFitPulse.com covers so much, and in a way that's both comprehensive and engaging.
Seriously. It's like they thought of everything when it comes to health and wellness.
And they make it all accessible too, no matter who you are or what you know.
That's what I love about them. They're not just for a specific group of people. They're for anyone who wants to feel better and live a healthier life.
And you can tell they're doing it because they really care about helping people, not just to get clicks or whatever.
Totally. It's clear that their mission is to make a positive impact, and I think that's why they've got such a loyal following.
Yeah.
People trust them.
Absolutely.
So if you haven't already, go check out ZenFitPulse.com. Seriously.
100% agree. You won't be disappointed.
We've talked about fitness, nutrition, mental health, holistic health. What else stood out to you about the site?
You know, what really impressed me was how they're always on top of the latest research. Like they're constantly updating to make sure you're getting the best, most current info.
And they do such a great job of explaining complicated stuff in a way that anyone can understand and use.
Yeah. It's like they find that perfect balance between being informative but not making your head spin.
Right. It's not just dry textbook stuff, but it's not overly simplified either.
And they're not afraid to tackle those controversial topics, debunk some myths.
Oh, like what?
Well, we talked about the protein myths already, but they've got articles on fad diets, weight loss supplements, all those trendy health things.
It's so important to be able to think critically about all this health information, and ZenFitPulse.com helps you do that.
Exactly. They encourage you to question what you hear, look for evidence, and then make your own decisions about your health.
You know, it's pretty amazing how much good information ZenFitPulse.com gives away for free. They could easily charge for this stuff, but they've chosen to make it accessible to everyone.
I think that really shows you what their priorities are. They believe everyone deserves good health information no matter what.
And it's not just information overload either. They're actually building a community.
That's right. They're super active on social media, answering questions, sharing stories.
Like a virtual support system for all things health and wellness.
Exactly. Plus, they have online courses and workshops if you want to dive deeper into specific topics.
So there's something for everyone, no matter where you are in your health journey.
For real. And they're always coming out with new stuff, so you'll never run out of things to learn.
Okay, before we wrap up, got to make sure everyone listening knows where to find all this awesomeness.
Yes. Head over to ZenFitPulse.com.
And definitely subscribe to their channel so you don't miss out on new stuff. Articles, videos, podcasts, they do it all.
Seriously, it's a goldmine of health and wellness info.
And they're always adding more, so you'll always have something new to check out.
It's like this never-ending journey of learning and taking care of yourself.
I like that. This has been such a fascinating look at ZenFitPulse.com. I feel like I've learned so much about their approach to health, and I'm excited to dig in even more on their site.
Me too. They've definitely motivated me to step up my own health game and really prioritize finding good information.
And I think that's the biggest takeaway here. Be proactive about your health. Use resources like ZenFitPulse.com to help guide you.
Couldn't agree more. Knowledge is power, and they're giving us the tools we need to live better lives.
So well said. And one last reminder to our listeners, go check out ZenFitPulse.com and subscribe to their channel for all that amazing content.
You won't regret it.
Huge thanks to our expert for sharing their insights with us today.
Happy to be here.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time on the Deep Dive. Wow, it's amazing how much we've learned just by looking at ZenFitPulse.com. Started with that protein absorption article, and it's like this rabbit hole of health and wellness info opened up.
It really is. Like, I feel like I have a whole new understanding of what it means to be healthy.
Right. And what I appreciate is they're not dogmatic about it. It's not like this is the only way to be healthy. They get that everyone's different.
Exactly. They give you different options, different perspectives, so you can find what works for you and your goals.
And it's all backed by actual science, too.
Oh, yeah, it's not just the latest trends or fads, it's solid, evidence-based stuff.
Which is so important these days with all the misinformation flying around. It's hard to know who to believe sometimes.
I know, right? And that's what makes ZenFitPulse.com so valuable. They cut through all that noise and give you clear, accurate info so you can make good decisions about your health.
One thing I really like is how they explain complicated things in a way that's actually easy to understand. They don't talk down to you, but they don't make it overly technical either.
I agree, it's a good balance. And they use real-life examples, tell stories. It makes it way more relatable and easier to remember.
It feels more like a conversation than a lecture, you know?
Exactly. And they're not afraid to talk about the controversial stuff or bust those common myths we all hear.
Yeah, that's refreshing. They challenge you to think critically about health, not just blindly follow what everyone else is doing.
Totally. They want you to question things, look for proof, make your own informed choices.
You know, one thing that really impressed me about ZenFitPulse.com is how they emphasize community. Like they've created this whole space where people can connect, share their experiences, support each other.
That's so key. It's easy to feel alone when you're trying to get healthy, but ZenFitPulse.com reminds you that you're not.
Yeah, and they're super active on social media, answering questions, sharing stories. It's really cool.
It's like this virtual support group for anyone into health and wellness.
And they have those online courses and workshops, too, for people who want to go deeper or connect with experts.
So no matter what level you're at, they've got something for you.
They really do. And they're always adding more, so there's always something new to check out. So what's the one thing you hope people take away from this deep dive into ZenFitPulse.com?
I think the biggest thing is that health isn't about being perfect. It's about finding those small changes you can stick with that make you feel better overall. And ZenFitPulse.com gives you the tools to do that.
So well put. And I hope everyone listening is inspired to go check out ZenFitPulse.com for themselves. They've got so much to offer. It's a true gem in the world of health and wellness.
Absolutely. It's a platform that can really change your life for the better.
And don't forget to subscribe to their channel so you don't miss out on all the new stuff they're constantly putting out.
Yes, it's a goldmine of information. Seriously.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive for today. A huge thank you to our expert for sharing their knowledge and insights with us.
My pleasure. I always enjoy these conversations.
And to all our deep divers out there, thank you for listening. Remember, knowledge is power, and when you take charge of your health, you can live a happier, healthier, more fulfilling life. Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep taking care of yourselves. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.